Swave Solar Pros, welcome to another episode of the Charge Up. Today's feature, one of my favorites in the game, Mr. Chase Fujihara.
Another one.
Welcome, Chase.
Good to be here. Good to be here.
How you doing? How you been? Been good?
You know, I didn't win the lottery, but I'm still alive.
I feel like you always act like you won the lottery, though. I don't think I've ever seen you down.
You know what they say, gratitude is the ultimate form of receivership.
So you're always receiving.
Always being grateful, which means that you're in this good state, which means that you're ready to receive.
Too blessed to be stressed.
And yeah,
That's
right. That's right.
We'll get into that. Tell me though, Chase, how'd you get into commission-based selling? Did the idea of that scare you initially?
Like getting into selling?
Yeah, getting into commission-based selling. Because a lot of
it's
guys sell, but there's
a salary
base, salary
involved,
base,
you get a little base.
plus commission. And all that. I feel like that's... matter of fact, a lot of people go out looking for that specifically because they still have that safety net, right? They're a little bit scared to make that jump and, you know.
So when I was when I was working as a server, I felt like I was working a lot. And I was working these hours where it was 6-7 hour shifts, and it was very high pace, and I had to focus and memorize and do a lot of work. And at the same time entertaining a table. So you guys know this, or most restaurants do this, but they do something called like a pool tip, to where all the servers would get all their tips together and then we would all split the tips. But I realized that I was making more tips than a lot of the other ones. So at that point I just said I wanted to stop making pool tip, and I wanted to see what I was worth in the marketplace. So I knew that sales was probably the best way to see what I'm worth. And that's what got me into commission-based selling.
Where you were like, let me see what I'm worth, actually.
Let me see what I'm actually worth.
Because I always bring value to my customers. Let me see what that value translates into
the monetary. Yeah, let me see if I can translate that into something that...
And the richest of the richest,
value.
A high percentage of that come from sales. They're selling something, right?
Yeah, because I've always studied real estate. I've always studied how to become rich because I wanted to be rich. If you want to be rich, you have to study money. And I realized that to become rich, you need to own assets. So then I realized that how do I make money quick? I knew that making $14, $15, $16 an hour, I'm not going to get rich doing that. So I went into sales and I bageled my first month, which means that I didn't sell shit. And my first sales job was door-to-door alarm sales.
Okay.
And that was with Alex about 4 or 5 years ago. And I didn't sell anything my first month. And that was coming into the office, training every single day. But then there was one blitz that I went on. It was actually here in Ridgecrest.
Nice.
Where all that training paid off in 1 week. That whole month of training paid off in 1 week. I sold 3 deals by myself in that 1 week. And that paid more than I ever made in
tips and
serving for 2 weeks, 2 full weeks of work. I made more than that in 1 week in just sales.
In 3 sits.
In three deals.
Nice.
Paid off all my debt. I felt, right before that though, I was feeling depressed. I was laying on my bed like, oh shoot, what am I going to do? I skipped school. I kind of just dropped out of school. I went straight into sales. It was all or nothing. And I knew that I had to figure it out. Otherwise, what would I do if I wanted to create my own company and I couldn't sell? So I figured this skill has always had to be learned. So I had to learn the skill. And once I kind of started putting in the work, then I started to see a little bit of success. And that's what got me hooked. I made more money in 2 or 3 hours of selling than I did in 2 weeks of 60 hours of work in serving.
It's always like the money is like the biggest eye opener. Right?
Yeah.
So for you, the idea of commission-based selling, it didn't really scare you. It almost like challenged you in a good way and you were kind of curious, I deserve more, I deserve better, and there's that's it, like it's do or die.
And people always say like, oh, commission-based selling, oh, that must be scary, that's only commission only. But I've always thought that it has to do something with a little bit of skill. There's no like, you just knock a door, you knock hundreds of doors, and then maybe you find one person that wants it. There's guys that knock 10 doors and sell a deal in 10 doors. There's guys that knock 5 doors. There's guys that knock 3 doors and sell a deal.
Yeah, that's
so
so
I'm like,
true.
I see these guys like Danny Pesci, all these guys, and they're doing 2 or 3 a day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there has to be some type of skill that's going on. So every single time I would come home on a blitz, I would ask the top guys, what would you say to this? Where I got stumped. What would you say to this? What would you say to this? I would write down all of their answers, and then I would practice which ones I liked the best. And then I would go out and use them. Most reps, they just write it down and they just put it away, and then they just don't even, they never look at it again. They never revisit, they never use it. So I guess the most important thing when you're trying to learn is to try to implement whatever the top reps are doing. Because you don't need to recreate the wheel. The wheel's already been running.
Just plug and play.
Just plug and play. And if you want to recreate the wheel, you can, but it's going to take you longer. Maybe that wheel will turn out to be good. But if the wheel's already spinning, you can add on to the wheel and keep making the wheel even better. Add chrome to it. Add this. Maybe sometimes you need to take things off from the wheel so it spins better.
Yeah.
So the wheel's already spinning. It's already made. You just need to implement. We got to implement what's working.
Yep. One of the sayings that I always like that summarizes what we do beautifully is, the job doesn't get easier. We just get better, right?
It kind of reminds me of like Jim Rohn. You know, don't wish it were easier. Wish you were better.
Yeah, that's a little more cutthroat, you know.
Yeah.
Get your game up.
Yeah. Which is sometimes what we need. You know?
For sure, man.
In this world of soft.
So we're not gonna go into
okay.
into the we don't want to get blackballed.
Oh yeah, we don't want to get canceled.
Canceled. There you go. That's the word, man. I'm getting old, y'all. I'm getting old. How long have you been doing sales for?
You're not getting too old.
Young money.
How long have I been doing sales for?
Yeah, how long you been in sales?
This would be my 4th year.
4th year. Oh, so you're the rookie and the vet.
Like, is that a quote from a song?
Drizzy Drake.
Great guy.
Do you remember the exact moment? I think you already covered it. I was going to ask you, do you remember? Because a lot of the guys have that exact moment when you knew, I'm never going back to the 9 to 5. But I feel like you pretty much
kind of
covered that. Yeah.
I'll tell you the moment where I feel like I almost quit. Was when I was down. I was in debt, $2,000. I was living in a place in Fullerton. I'm supposed to be going to school. I was going to school. I'm sitting in the classroom, and I found myself just reading about things that had nothing to do with school. And I'm like, I'm wasting my time here. I need to go out and hone my skills. So where I almost quit was when I was laying in bed. I was kind of going to school, kind of not really. And I was $2,000 in debt, and I was laying on my bed, and I'm like, oh, fuck. I just came back from a blitz, my first blitz ever. I didn't sell anything. So I'm like, oh, shit. Is this really for me? Am I really going to freaking make it? Like, I'm in debt. Like, I have to make this work. I kind of already quit my server job. Like, I kind of just burned all my ships. And I was like, I'm totally committed.
That's beautiful.
And I think that's what I had to burn all my ships to actually sell.
That's
because there's no other option.
100%. The Vikings did that, right?
To burn their ships, you know, and
he said
one of the generals or something said
we're either victorious or
victorious or we die. So we're gonna burn the ships.
There's no going back.
Did they actually burn the ships?
They did burn the ships.
That probably gets everyone's minds to like, oh shoot, I don't want to die. I better think of something.
You didn't have a plan B.
I didn't.
Yeah, this was it.
It was it.
You were on the No Choice program.
Exactly.
NCP.
Because I knew I didn't want to serve all the time.
How long were you like a sales rep for before you got into more of a leadership role?
I'd say like a couple years.
Couple years.
Couple
But
years.
it makes sense. It's so funny because when you're doing
I would say even 3 years. Yeah.
commission-based selling and everything, all the reward is based on performance. Just you giving a little synopsis on how you approach the job. You were all about it. So you just 10x'd 10,000 hours in a shorter amount of time, where when you don't take this as your main gig, there's nothing else that I'm going to be doing, I feel like you're just operating at a mediocre level. But when you commit, not only do you learn faster, but you earn faster, and then you're able to advance, because a lot of the opportunities we always promote from within. A lot of commission-based selling jobs, that's where the leadership comes from, the front lines, because those are the guys leading by example. So I feel you committed so much that it was almost bound to happen. Did you initially start off wanting to be like one of the leaders in a leadership role?
Good question. Eventually, maybe. But like, I just wanted to like make enough money to be free. I wanted to make enough money to where I can like do the things that I want and do it when I wanted to. And now that I've kind of completed that, or now I can kind of do whatever I want, and I have enough money to do whatever I want. Maybe not like whatever, but I'm good enough. Or what's the thing?
You got the freedom, because I
have a little bit of freedom now.
That's one of the things that attracts a lot of us is the freedom that comes. There's no more exchanging time for money like you would in a 9 to 5.
That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, where now you're in control of your time because you have the money. Because you put in the work, because you were able to get better. And not that the job got easier, but no, you got better, right? And instead of knocking 100 doors to get one sale, now you're knocking 5, knocking 7, to get that one sale. And so and that's nothing changes, just the amount of money in your bank account, where it's like, okay, that's freedom.
And that's why I like door to door. It's because it's about constant growth. If you go into a different like sales industry, you'll see people that have been there for like 10, 15, 20 years, and they're not even getting better. They're saying the same things over and over and over and over, and they make the same amount of money. The reason why I like door to door is because we are constantly trying to get better, at least 1% every single day getting better. And what that does is that iron sharpens iron.
Yes, sir. Speaking of that, what are 3 pieces of advice that you would give a new rep that has never sold anything prior to coming to Swave?
Oh, that's easy.
What would it be? I'm excited to hear this.
This would be mindset.
All right, talk to me. Talk to us. Let us know.
Just like real estate, location, right? Okay. But unlike real estate, the mind is unlimited. You can value add to the property. Every time you add to the property, it's worth more. Every single time that piece of property goes up, you start to see other opportunities. Basically, your mind is everything. If you put out a vibration in your mind saying that, hey, this is not for me, then your customer or the person you're talking to is going to sense that. If you put out a vibration like everybody likes this stuff, everybody needs this stuff, or it's like they've already been talking about it, then you're going to come across the vibration of someone saying, yeah, huh. And you're going to make them feel that just by thinking of it. So basically the mind, whatever the mind can believe, the body achieves.
I love that, man. I'm a big Napoleon Hill guy, so that's from Think and Grow Rich as well. So I love that.
If you haven't read that book, I would say read that book. It's a good book.
That's a great, eloquently written by the Bible, sales Bible. I like to call it, but
the sales Bible.
The sales Bible for sure. But I love that. At first, I'm like, man, Chase is messing with me right now. Give me three nuggets, bro. Come on, But I love that because I mean, the mind is the most important real estate that we have. So when law of attraction, right? But setting goals, like it all comes from visualizing it, believing that you can achieve it, and then having a plan set up so that you can execute, and then becomes a reality, you know. So I love that, man. That's super, super, super important. I love that you went.
It's just so crazy because I watch all these I watch these stories of people that the doctors tell them that they're going to be bedridden forever. Their spine, oh, the back, oh, you guys will never walk again. And then you can see all the patients that say, oh my God, I believe the doctor. They end up staying in the hospital, getting more sick, getting more lower vibration, and then just dying. But for the people that say, oh no, I'm walking out of this hospital next week. You can even talk about...
Only the people that say that.
Only the people that say that, it happens to them.
That's
and then
insane,
for the people that say, I'm walking out of this hospital 1 week from now, both legs are like broken, like hard, can't even walk. The doctors are like, you're crazy. I'm walking out of this place 1 week from now. I'm getting out of here. Guy puts his mind to it. Guy just gets up, starts doing therapy. Every single day, he's just thinking about walking. He's freaking he's thinking about it in his mind. He's manifesting it. And then all of a sudden, the mind is it's the most powerful thing that we have. You know, I was doing research on the mind, and the mind is actually capable. It's actually, if you were to take all the fragments or whatever in the mind, the molecules, and set them up into a city, it would actually be a whole city block, would be your whole mind, and it would be powered by a nuclear power plant. So if you were to take your mind and put it into like material, your mind basically can create a whole city block. It's basically a mini supercomputer that is way more powerful than we ever even knew. So when people say something, then they start to believe it. Whatever your mind starts to believe, then your body's going to go towards that.
It also showcases the power of negative thoughts because we know nuclear power plants are very hazardous areas, you know. So negativity is almost that energy that comes in and can get that power plant to explode, and then the city's done, you know, where the positive thoughts, the positive affirmations, the PMA, positive mental attitude, just fuels a productive city, you know,
correct.
And a bigger city,
correct.
You know. So wow, I like that. I like that analogy. Always so wise, Mr. Fujihara. What's one piece of advice that you would give an existing rep looking to take on more of a leadership role?
An existing rep, so it's maybe like someone in the office that like you know, he did his first year, second year, and now he's thinking, how do I build? How do I step into leadership? My question to you would be, what are you hoping to gain, or why do you want to become a leader? Because being a leader is not just like managing people. I believe being a leader is being able to do it yourself, and then also being able to teach it to your guys, right? But you got to understand, people got to understand why you want to be a leader. So like for some people, I like seeing people transform. I like changing people's lives. I like to see the caterpillar go into a little cocoon, and I like to see the cocoon turn into the butterfly. That gives me energy. And I think that's why the leaders love to see that. And I think that's why we continue to lead and continue to be leaders.
I love that.
That's what gets us. That's what it's all about.
Well, you just brought that full circle, because initially when you came into the industry, you were looking to change your situation. When you get into leadership, now you're looking to add and empower and help others change their situation. You know, so that's I like how you tie that in. Chase, looks like the Tesla's fully charged up, man.
Yeah.
Did you have anything that you want to tell the guys? Leave off with?
Yeah. Just try it. You never know. Like you really don't know until you just say, hey, I'll just give it a go, give it my all, and see what happens. You never know until you try. So like my dad was a business owner, and like on his like license plate, you know, he just said on his license plate, said, you never know.
You never know.
You never know.
People say, "Oh,
you could be great. You could be bad."
That's so powerful because I feel like a lot of people, especially, it's the revolving door.
It may not be for you.
Yeah, well, but a lot of people don't get to find out. A lot of people they judge themselves right away and say, oh, this is not my cup of tea. This is not for me. And it's like Henry Ford said, right? Whether you think you can or you think you cannot, you're right.
You're right.
But it's like, oh, this isn't for me. But you didn't even find out.
Exactly.
How do you know? You don't even know, right?
So that's what I would say. I would say, like, you never know until you try.
And that ties in back with mindset,
Mindset.
We're at the charge up. How do you charge up for your work day? How do you charge up for blitzes, the work trips that we do? What would you say would be your biggest things? Do you have a system in place? What do you do? Do you have rituals? How do you charge up for
Celsius, baby. Just chug that stuff and just hit the gym. But then if you don't want to do all that,
so you do work out.
I do work out. I hit the gym. I would say that look into meditation. Look into breath work. I'm starting to quit Celsius, actually. I'm starting to quit caffeine. I'm starting to quit all these extra things that try to boost your energy up. And I'm just and I'm doing it naturally through just breath work, breathing, taking in deep breaths. A good exercise would be to take like an 8-second breath in, all the way deep, all the way down, and then hold it for like 4 seconds, and then let it go for 8 seconds on an 8-second exhale. You do that 3 times, your life will change. You do that 3 times every day, your life will change.
So instead of Celsius, just a breath of fresh air.
Mm-hmm.
I like that, man. Well, there you have it, guys. Swave Solar Pros. Hope you enjoyed this episode here with Chase Fujihara.
Charged up, baby. We're charged up. I'm ready to go sell.
And I know we know you have some appointments laid out, so we'll let you go and do that. But it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure.
Oh, it was a pleasure, Doctor.
Thank you for giving us a few minutes of your time. I know you're busy with this, but I am positive that it's going to help you guys out there. So until the next one, see you then.